Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm gonna show you how to remove the intake manifold on this Volkswagen Up from 2013. First, let's remove this air filter box. On the left side, there is a hose which comes from the PCV valve. Just unplug it like that. Pull the air box out of the supports. And here it comes. First, we will have to remove any parts around the intake manifold. So I'm gonna start with the solenoid from the evaporative control system. Rotate the hose from the solenoid just to break it loose. Disconnect it like that. The same with the connector. Just press on this tab and pull it in the same time. Then disconnect this plastic hose. Next, I will unplug as well the connector from the map sensor. Down there by the alternator, there is a one wire sensor. So you need a 24mm wrench in order to loosen it up. You will not have to open it all the way. Just that the connector tab will come outwards like that, so you can unplug it like so. Then just tighten it back in order to avoid oil spilling. Now the wire harness is free with all three connectors. I'm just gonna go further to the injectors, press on the tab and unplug the connectors as well. Can be done by hand. Next, you'll have to remove the fuel rail. It's holded on the intake by two bolts. Use a T30. Once the bolts are removed, now the fuel rail should come easily out together with the injectors. Next, you'll have to disconnect the fuel hose from the fuel rail. It's connected by this type of clamp. You can use this type of lockable pliers. There we go. You can move this hose clamp in and out easier. For the moment, I'm gonna let it down. And what I'm gonna do with this type of lockable plier, I will restrict the fuel circulation into this pipe because this system doesn't have a fuel pressure regulator, and instead the PCM will send intermittent signal to the fuel pump once every 30 minutes or so, and it will send fuel under pressure to keep fuel line under pressure. When you use this, make sure that there's enough space over here for the rubber. I'm gonna pinch it like so. And now with some paper towel around it. When working with fuel under pressure, make sure that you use some glasses. Here is the fuel rail with the injectors and the wire harness. I'm gonna set it apart down there. And you could see there was no fuel spillage doing it in this way. Next, I'm going to remove the throttle body with the same T30. There are three bolts which holds the throttle body on the intake. Once the bolts are removed, I will unplug the connector as well. Next, there is one kind of difficult to access bolt. Yeah, right there. You can see it's a 13mm bolt. You'll probably find this wire harness in the way, connected by the zip tie. You might have to remove that as well, or cut it or something like that. I believe it's more convenient to use your left hand. Here we go. This is the bolt. It has a M socket available as well. Now the size of this intake is a little bit larger than the space available in order to be able to take out the intake. So you will have to make a way to push a little bit the radiator and all this plastic front of the car. In order to do that, there is a bolt right here in the middle. And there is one on the other side as well, right there where the tip of my finger is. The last thing to remove are these 5 bolts. One here, two down here, and one under here. Next, I'm going to remove this piece of metal frame, which is holding also the radiator part. On the other side, I had to remove it all because it was staying in the way of that bolt. One more hose right next to the throttle body. You just have to lift this clamp and pull the hose. There is one more sensor to disconnect just for safety reasons, to not break it or something like that. Now with this last connector removed, I will take out the coolant sensor also. Just make sure that you place this PCV valve out of the way. And now finally the intake should just come out. It's a good idea to organize everything you remove so you can install it much more easier and you'll know exactly what bolt goes where. Now you can observe on these intake gaskets, on some spots they are quite melted. if one of these rubber gaskets is leaking air, then it might compromise the performance of the engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace these gaskets. Alright, next I'm going to clean all this surface where the intake gasket will sit. You can see, for example, I found this rock over here, and if this goes into your cylinder, I can guarantee you that you're not gonna be happy about it. With the gaskets on, now it's time to place the intake back. Make sure that you make space over here and there is nothing in the way like connectors to brake or hoses. Now you can see this difference of movement. It will allow you to take out the intake. There we go. Unfortunately, I cannot use a torque wrench, so I'm going to try to estimate by hand the 20 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, so from now on, the process of installation is basically the reverse of what I've been doing until now. This job is almost done, but before that, I'm going to show you a quick test you can do to inspect if the intake gasket is sealed completely. For that, you'll have to start the engine and either listen to the RPMs while you spray some gasoline around the gasket, or the most accurate test is to have a scan tool and check for oxygen sensor response. If you see the oxygen sensor going rich, then that's a clear confirmation the gasket is not sealed completely. You can do this test, of course, around any other parts of the engine which you might suspect that has an air leak. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, now I'm gonna wait for the oxygen sensor to get hot and begin to read values. The sensor 1 began to send the signal, so I'm gonna begin to spray the fuel around the intake gasket. And as you can see, there is no rich condition response in this, even though I spray a lot of fuel around this area. To test this, I'm gonna put some gasoline in the throttle. You can see that's a huge response down there of a rich condition. Alright guys, that was it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new to this channel and you want to see more car repair videos, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, drive safe and I will see you soon.